Oh no.
Hey, well look who it is. It's you,
मुझे कितना
John.
और कितना कितना
Common name.
ज़्यादा
You're probably
दिमाग
named
खराब
John.
कर सकते।
1 in 5
मैंने
chance you're named
आपका
John. 1 in
दिमाग खराब
50% chance you're 100%. Your name is John now.
फंस गया ना
It's today in nerd
जाल
history.
में।
Today
आपको नहीं बोलना।
in nerd history.
Censorship happens all the time. All the f***ing time. See? Sometimes it's justified, other times it's not. But when things get censored while crossing cultural borders, all the weirdness floats to the top. And here are 5 weird ways that Dragon Ball was censored. Number 5, Mr. Popo turns blue. The character Mr. Popo, whether you're ready to admit it or not, was a horrific modern example of the blackface or darky racial stereotype, which is not a whole lot of fun for anyone. You don't get to make a jet black character with gigantic red lips and a single dangling tooth without getting called out for being a racist, no matter the cultural context. And it doesn't matter if it wasn't meant to offend because it's rooted in imagery that was designed to belittle and demean an entire race of people. So you can imagine the predicament that Western media companies found themselves in when it came to shipping the character overseas to America. And their solution? Make Mr. Popo blue. In the 4Kids version of Dragon Ball Z Kai, Mr. Popo is transformed from a magical minstrel into a magical minstrel that happens to look like an ill-advised mascot for Internet Explorer. And there's basically no good way to navigate through a situation like this. Warner Brothers has republished collections of their cartoons that had problematic racial imagery with messages that preceded, acknowledging that the imagery is wrong, but also acknowledging that you can't just sweep it under the rug and pretend it never happened. A cartoon with that kind of warning might be a hard sell for advertisers, but it's better than pretending that a blue popo is any kind of significant solution. Number 4, strange ways of dealing with sex and nudity. Though it was toned down in DBZ, the original Dragon Ball was rife with innuendo. Many of these scenes were cut out entirely when it came to the US release, and it's not hard to see why someone might want to delete a scene of a woman flashing her vagina to get a Dragon Ball. But sometimes those risque scenes were kept in the series with just slight changes that didn't really make sense. Like here, where Goku lifts up Bulma's skirt to reveal her underwear. Though some edits excise this scene entirely, the Ocean Group version of Dragon Ball just colored in the underwear. Instead of white with pink polka dots, it's pure pink. Sure, you could show her butt, you just can't make it look like she's having too much fun with her fashion choices. In the original cartoon, Horn Dog Sensei Master Roshi is chilling out with a girly mag. But in the Nicktoons version, he's reading what appears to be an engrossing issue of Blank Magenta Square Quarterly. Here, Bulma is using her underwear as bait to catch the panty-crazed Oolong. In an effort to make the situation slightly less weird, the underwear was replaced with what must have been the first search result for money wad in Google image search. In an unedited episode, Goku isn't wearing any pants. Some versions gave his bathing suit area something resembling an actual bathing suit, but others inserted random objects into the world to cover up that doodle diddle. And the show ends up coming off like a goofy Austin Powers scene. Number 3, Hell, or the Home for Infinite Losers. The story of Dragon Ball Z involves a few deaths here and there. Okay, there are a lot of deaths, and yes, it's mostly Krillin. And this morbid side of the series proved troublesome for censors. In some cases, dialogue was changed to erase any mention of death. Characters never explicitly stated that Goku was dead, but instead trapped in another dimension. But it took more than just changing a few dubbed lines. When the trapped version of Goku is running along Snake Way, he falls and lands in Hell. But the issue came to a head with Gauze and Mez, 2 ogres who had the word Hell emblazoned across their jerseys. Like a crafty yet underperforming middle schooler smudging a dire report card, censors managed to change Hell into HFIL. And like that, Hell became the Home for Infinite Losers. Then there's the problem with Goku's halo, which pretty much clearly indicates that he's passed on. Someone had a fix for that too, though. Instead of a shining halo around his head, Goku wore a glowing yellow dot. Number 2, strange ways of dealing with violence. It's the American way. You can't show a naked toddler taking a bath in the sink, barf, but you can show grown men just pounding the living shit out of each other's faces. But, I mean, even America has its limits. So it's censorship to the rescue! Some versions kept the blood that dripped from Piccolo's arm during his fight with Raditz, only they changed the color from blood red to lime green, like Piccolo's armhole is a margarita machine that just ran dry. After he got dumb blowed up by Goku, half of Frieza's head was gone. While it might be understandable to cut away from the pulpy mass of brains and face blood, not every version of the episode did. Instead, we get a palette swap that's somehow even more disturbing than the original version. Maybe the most baffling thing was concerning Gohan in danger, removing his tears while he cries in the custody of Raditz. Well, sure, the audience was about to see his dad get eviscerated by a laser beam, but at least the censors were sure that this toddler wasn't too upset about it. Number 1, Thailand's censorship is out of control. This censorship is on part of a TV channel in Thailand, which chose to blur the chest of Gohan when he hulked out into monkey mode. To be fair, it's a cultural thing. but censoring something in this manner just makes it look way worse than it really is. And DBZ is pretty tame, I mean by anime standards at least, so you can imagine what the censors did to the racier programs, like Sailor Moon, and it gets worse. This Maxim-style magazine is much more foul with a layer of Vaseline smeared across the screen. But it's not just all near or non-nudity that's off limits. Like in other areas of Asia, showing the soles of your feet in Thailand is considered a sign of disrespect. So when anime characters do what they do and get so shocked that they fall directly on their spines, censors have to blur their shoes. And in a sense, Americans should be proud that they grew up in a country that tolerated the pervy ways of Master Roshi.